Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? Well, it's time for another mega movie review. A whole bunch of movie reviews in one, but the main focus on this one is 2015 release of the sequel to Joe Dirt 2, Beautiful Loser. Now, this was streaming on, well, they had like a free stream on Crackle by July 16th or something like that, and I saw it on Crackle just uh, earlier today, and it's free on their channel, and this is actually a movie made by Crackle. Because everyone's trying to compete with Netflix. It seems like Netflix right now is just pretty much focused on doing like their own TV shows and stuff like that. Because they're going to be doing like 10 TV series to be reviewed, to be released throughout the year, something like that. And they had success with that, and then Crackle's trying to get on that game and released a sequel to Joe Dirt. I never saw the original Joe Dirt. I heard a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people like the movie. Well, this is the sequel, Joe Dirt 2, Beautiful Loser, and it's lousy. Lousy. Dennis Miller's in it, and he kind of like, it's like a story narrator somewhat, and I'm pretty sure, the way Dennis Miller is, I'm pretty sure he knows this movie's a piece of crap, too. He does like a little narration. He does like his condescending, weird humor, reference jokes and stuff like that. He even says overwritten. His part was overwritten. The rest of the movie is not. And the rest of the movie is really cheap looking. Joe Dirt, it kind of does like a whole Forrest Gump thing, and saying like he talks about he talks about how he met the girl and how he had 3 kids, 3 girls, and then he goes back in time to 1965 through like a Wizard of Oz type thing, where like he's in like a tornado, and tornado, and the trailer he was in goes in, lands on this one guy, and he gets like these boots from this motorcycle gang, and he can predict the future, buying comic books and stuff like that to raise money and stuff. I'm probably making the movie sound better than it really is. It's really lame. I mean, the best parts was part where, well, you're supposed to feel bad for the guy because everybody picks on him and stuff. There's a part where he was at work at a lumberjack or something like that, and he's at lunch and everyone starts farting in his face. I mean, I laughed at the sound of the farts, but even that wasn't that funny, but the sound of the farts were funny. I kind of like that. And there's a part where he meets Leonard Skinner before they get famous back in, because he goes back to 1965, when they're still known as Wildcats and stuff like that. That scene was alright, but I mean, for the rest of the movie, it's so lame. It's not funny at all. Well, the farts were kind of funny, but I mean, I think farts are funny. I'm sure my dad will laugh, but this movie really sucks. I mean, someone was telling me they saw it at Walmart coming to DVD. I would highly recommend not buying the DVD. If you can see it for free on Crackle, that's the way to go, because it's made by Crackle anyways. Very low budget looking, uh, and the script is so bad. It is really really bad. I mean, because I reviewed 2 lousy movies last night, but they were so bad they were good. The Creature from Bloodfart Lake and that Warrior Biker Bay versus Alien Babies. Those were funny. Those were stupid but funny. This was stupid but lame. They didn't even really try. I mean, the sound of the farts were funny, but I mean, they did farts in Creature from Bloodfart Lake, and that movie was way better. But it was so bad. It was so bad. I'd give this a 2 out of 10. If you get a chance to see it on Crackle, see it on Crackle for free. Even though you'll get, it's a free service, but there's commercial breaks in between the movie. But it's better dealing with that like the old-fashioned way, like watch on TV with commercial breaks, and paying for it on D. I couldn't imagine anyone paying for it. I mean, you might like it if you're a fan of the first one, but I highly doubt it. I never saw the first one. I had mainly the chance to see it. I never saw it. And of course now, and it was available free on Crack or another channel. Of course now it's not on there. But I would definitely check out the first one. I mean, it's got to be better than this one. It's Joe Dirt 2, Beautiful Loser. It was awful. And there's a couple other movies I wanted to do. I want to talk about the weather right now. Do a weather update, and I'll go to see the other movies. It's really weird. Once again, the way the weather's been. I mean, could it be bad and then you get a break? And this time it was a little further further beyond that you got a break because it was snowing last Sunday. Started coming down 1:30 and it was coming down off and on, off and on, off and on, and it was getting really cold, like in the teens and in single digits. And then I know my sister said she wanted to come over Thursday night, and I said, well, okay. And then well, she wanted to come over Friday morning around 12:30. And I said, well, okay, I'll get up at 10 to do shoveling because when I get up early in the morning, it's pretty dark, and then when I come home, it's dark. So it's kind of hard to shovel snow, you know. And it accumulated. It wasn't super bad. It may have been maybe 8-10 inches of snow, so that's not too bad. But I was going to at least shovel off the pathway and the steps and the porch and stuff like that, right? Well, anyways, I got up at 10 in the morning, and it was raining, and almost all the snow had melted, so I got out of shoveling snow, which is pretty awesome. And it didn't. It was warmed up, cause like not Wednesday night, but maybe it was Wednesday night. It started warming up Wednesday night to like the 30s and 40s, and then Thursday it was like 30s, 40s, but it started raining some, and then Friday was in the 30s and 40s, and then Saturday it started getting a little colder. It rained a little bit, and then it started to turn into snow somewhat, but there was just a dusting on the ground. It was snowing earlier today, around 11 o'clock. It's snowing right now, and the ground is getting somewhat covered with snow again. Now, they said there was going to be snow activity from 2 o'clock today to like 2 Tuesday afternoon, and they said a possible accumulation up to a foot of snow. And then we're going to get a round of snow again, and it's going to get lower into the temperatures and stuff, just like last week, so. I don't know if we'll get another break, but it's just been really weird. It's not that bad out. A million times better than what it was January and February last year. It sucked really bad. And a little update on my Japan crate. Because my sister said, I got a message around 9. I got maybe 9 o'clock Friday, and I just knew I didn't have to shovel snow, which was awesome. And my sister was saying that she had a tracking number and said my Japan crate came in Albion Friday morning, so I'll probably get it today. And I remember I looked out around 11:30. I wanted to check my garbage because the thing was off, lid was off. I went out, just look out, and all of a sudden there was a hand hand me pack. It scared the shit out of me. And it was a mofos lady. Like, oh, jeez, like that. She started laughing. So I thought she heard me coming. I said, no. So she got the drop on me. I was a little bit shocked. I was scared on that one. She scared me. So that's my update on the weather and my Japan crate somewhat. Now, I wanted to go back into some of the other movies I saw. I saw The Rite with my sister, saw that with me. Now, The Rite was about exorcism, and whenever people think about exorcism, they automatically think about The Exorcist. Just like if it's a shark movie, it automatically gets compared to Jaws in some way, shape, or form. Or nowadays, it's more like Sharknado has crazy the shark movie has gone, you know. But usually, it used to be Jaws for a traditional shark movie. A crazy shark movie would be Sharknado, get compared to that. And The Rite's a very entertaining movie. Anthony Perkins is in it. I mean, goddamn, I did what my sister said. She kept saying Anthony Perkins, Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is in it, and he ends up getting possessed. He was a priest that performed that. He ended up getting possessed. And then some of his characters seemed like he was like doing Hannibal Lecter again. But the movie is actually very entertaining. It's a little derivative, but I think you'll enjoy that. It's on Netflix, and that gets an 8 out of 10 for being pretty entertaining for what it was. I did like it. Not the best, but I mean, it's pretty good, you know. The next one is Drive. I've been wanting to see Drive for a long time. And that's the Ryan Gosling movie. And that was on Tubi TV. And that was really good. And it was good seeing Albert Brooks as a bad guy. And Ron Perlman was a bad guy too. But Ron Perlman kind of played good guys and bad guys and stuff. But I mean, the guy, Ryan Gosling, was this driver that was a stunt driver. And also he drove for like people getaway, as a getaway driver. And he said like that. And he protects himself, and it's really good in a tight action film. I really enjoyed that. That gets a full-on 10 out of 10. That was awesome. And then after that, I saw something really strange called Your Mama. It's like a cartoon. It said it was like a half hour long. It was on Tubi TV, I believe, again. And it said, Your Mama jokes, 100 jokes, can you watch them all? And it was like a cartoon that said, "Your mama's so old, your mama's so fat, your mama." And the way it was done, it gets a little tired after a while. But I mean, some of the jokes were good. Some of the jokes were like real old ones, like "Your mama's so ugly, they have to tie a pork chop around her neck to get the dog." That was a classic, old classic one though, super old one. I remember that when I was a kid. They had a couple of good ones, like "Your mom's so dumb she set up an appointment to see Dr. Pepper." That was okay. Or "Your mom's so stupid she tried to climb Mountain Dew." That was good. And the one I told my sister, because my sister's a big Hello Kitty fan, she said, "Your mom was so ugly, Hello Kitty said goodbye." Some of those were okay. But I mean, it just gets, it might be good to see those in like little segments. Because it does get a little old after a while. But I did stick through the whole thing. It had commercial breaks, which helped. That's actually the time it helped a little bit to break up the monotony. Um, it's anime. I like how they fleshed out the jokes a little bit in some parts. But like I said, it does get a little bit old and tired after a while. If you can watch like maybe 20 jokes at a time and watching little bits, it might be okay. But I give that a very mild 6 out of 10. It does get old and derivative, but I don't know. That's up to you. It said if you could watch all at one time. Now the next one is Stop Loss. I've been wanting to see Stop Loss for a long time too. And Stop Loss is like is a term I never heard of before. But I mean, with the war in Afghanistan, I was in the army a long time ago, and we had the Desert Storm and stuff like that. Stop Loss is like you're supposed to get out, and they end up extending your tour and end up sending you back, I guess. And I think that happened to. I remember it happened to this one guy. He was supposed to get out, and they kept him there because the Desert Storm kept him on Fort Bragg. He was pissed, and he was like, he had a nice looking girlfriend. He was real slovenly. He had a nice looking girlfriend or wife or something like that. I don't know how how he landed her. And he'd be running PT. You do the 2 mile run, and he'd just give up, and then he just started walking. That one drill sergeant, not drill sergeant, Sergeant Burroughs got so pissed off. He said he wants out. He got it. And he was like, and the guy was like, I was trying to do the best on my PT test. This is in winter of '91 where there was no snow or nothing in North Carolina. It was in Fort Bragg. And he called me, because I was trying to do more than the required 42 push-ups, 42 sit-ups or something like that. He said, you can stop now, you can stop now, you can stop now during PT. I just kept going until I couldn't go anymore. The guy kept calling me Mr. PT, which no one's ever called me that before. But he ended up getting kicked out. He had a real attitude problem, but I mean, I don't know how he got a nice looking wife. I can't remember the guy's name, but I know Sergeant Burroughs didn't like him at all. And this is about that, but the war in Afghanistan, and one guy, they're home for leave, and the guy's supposed to be getting out, and they do like 28 days and wake up. That's what you usually say. And he said that on the day he said you're supposed to get out, and the guy said you've been stop loss, and he said you're going back to Afghanistan in like a week or so, and he ends up going on a run, and it shows like the effects of war, how some of his friends kind of went nuts, kind of shooting up things and getting really drunk and getting in big fights. And this is a really good movie. I heard it was a huge flop at the box office, but I really liked it. I've been wanting to see it for a while. It's a shame. It's a damn shame I wasn't able to see it with my dad, because I wanted to see it with my dad. But, it's available for free on Tubi TV right now. And I got to see it, and I give that a full-on 10 out of 10. Really good. Now, the last and the final film I'm going to review is a movie called Overboard with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Now, apparently they're like one of Hollywood's power couple. At least you don't hear about them as much anymore because they're not in the spotlight, especially Goldie Hawn, she don't do as much as she did. And they apparently met on the movie Swing Shift. And this was the other movie they starred in together back in '87 by Gary Marshall. And I haven't seen this movie in almost 30 years. And I saw it in Fort Gordon, Georgia back in '88 when I was in the Army, in AIT. That was Army instructional technical thing where, you'd have base training, then you go to AIT. It's like schooling for learn your MOS. And I was 29 Foxtrot at the time, and they ended up switching that, and 29 Sierra, and it became 31 Sierra I became in Fort Bragg. anyways, before I remember when that came out in '87, when I was still in high school. That's when it originally came out, and I remember back when my mom and dad were still married together because they got divorced like about a month before I went in the army. And November 1st is when my mom left my dad, and I ended up going to the army November 22nd of '87. And she left November 1st of '87. Anyways, earlier that movie came out, and we used to have like a subscription to the newspaper. That was back when Eerie Times was a big deal, and everybody liked it. And the Sunday paper was awesome. And you got like a little TV guide in there called TV Week. The Eerie Times sucks now because it's not even made in Erie. It's made in Butler, PA. It's a lot smaller and stuff. But anyways, and Thursday they still have it. They had a showcase. And there was this guy who reviewed movies who was really harsh on so many movies, and he absolutely hated Overboard. He denounced that movie, and I always wanted to see it. I admit it was heavily advertised, and it's directed by Gary Marshall, the guy who did like a lot of the popular sitcoms in the '70s and '80s, like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, and an awesome Odd Couple TV show, the original one. And I finally saw it in Fort Gordon, Georgia, and I loved it. And I got to see it again last night. I haven't seen it since '88, and it's been a while. And I really enjoyed it. I don't think I loved it as much as I did when I first saw it at the theater, in the Army Theater back then, the Signal Theater. But I did enjoy it. It tells the story about Goldie Hawn. She's a real rich bitch on a yacht with this one guy who's like a complete jerk, and she hires Kurt Russell to make like a shoe closet, a closet for shoes and stuff like that. He charges $600, and this is back in '87. And she was mad because when he finished up, it wasn't the right wood. She said she wanted cedar, and he made out of oak. And he said she didn't specify what kind of wood she wanted. She said she's not paying. She ended up throwing him overboard. She threw his tool belt overboard, his thing of tools overboard, and he was out of all his tools plus the $600 that he was going to charge, and ruined all his tools. And apparently later, he was all pissed off about it, and understandably so. And later on, that girl said she lost her wedding ring, and she went to get it, and she fell overboard, and she gets amnesia, and she's in kind of like the mental institution, or hospital, and stuff like that. And the one thing is, they have a security guard in there, and the security guard is played by Ray Comb. I don't know if you know who he is. He was famous and then infamous at the kind of same time, because he was a stand-up comedian. Then he went on to replace Richard Dawson on Family Feud. And then sadly, in '96, he committed suicide. He hung himself because he was having marital problems and all this other stuff. So he was famous and infamous at the same time. But he was very good in the movie. He played a small role as a security guard. That stood up to me, and that was '87, way before he killed himself. And anyways, they called the husband over, and the husband said, "Do you know who this woman is?" He said, "I never seen her in my life." And then he went to party with a bunch of girls for like 2 months or so. And then, Kurt Russell finds out about this, and he said, "Well, I have an idea to get my money back." So he ends up saying that he's her husband, and he has like 4 kids, are real brats. And he said, "Well, I'm your husband, and then this is your house, and these are your kids, and you have to take care of them." And he said he was going to. He talked to his friend. He was going to have her work for him and do chores and stuff like that till he made his $600 plus lost tools back. I remember the one critic said it was really mean-spirited and stuff, and in some ways it was kind of, but I mean, you have to take it in stride, and they end up falling in love and all. It goes a traditional formula. The one thing I was surprised is I looked on IMDb, and it said the estimated budget for this movie was $20 million, but this movie looks incredibly cheap. The only thing it looked like they spent money on was like the props for the golf course they were making, Seven Wonders of the World. They had some neat looking props in there that they looked like they might have spent a little bit of money on there, but for the most part, the movie looked really cheap. I liked the movie. Like I said, I remember seeing it in the Army. I absolutely loved it. I really liked this one. I didn't love it. I give this one probably a 7 out of 10. It's available for free on Tubi TV again, and then it said leaving soon. So it's a movie that's probably going to be taken off there soon. So I thought it'd be in my best interest to see it again because I haven't seen it in a long time. I said, well, I'd see it one last time because my interest was up because I forgot what it was about, and I did like it. It's very long though. It should be a movie like this should traditionally be about 90 minutes long, and it was an hour and 52 minutes, almost a full 2 hours. And with the extra commercial breaks, you kind of feel it because it has commercial breaks in it. But it is a very good movie. I did enjoy it. Like a very mild, solid 7 out of 10 for Overboard. So there you have it for my movie reviews, the weather update, and a little Japan crate update / anecdote. I hope you liked this video. Until next time, bye. Please take care, my legion. And don't buy Joe Dirt on DVD. I'd watch it for free on Crackle while you still can. And then if you don't watch for free, you're not missing anything, believe me. All right, take care, everyone.